Hello, I'm Debbie Russ with the BBC News. French police are carrying out a series of raids in connection with the beheading of a teacher last week by an Islamist teenager. The Interior Minister, Gérald Darmanin, described the scale and aims of the operation.
Depuis ce matin, à la suite du Conseil de défense.
As of this morning, following the meeting of the Defence Council, police operations have been taking place and will continue to take place in the coming hours and days. There are a lot of them and they involve dozens of individuals to whom we want to pass on the President's clear message that there will be no respite for the enemies of the Republic.
Mr Darmanin said he was scrutinising 51 French Muslim associations with a view to shutting some down. They include the Collective Against Islamophobia, which ministers accuse of displaying persistent hostility to France. The socialist candidate Luis Arce looks set to win Bolivia's presidential election without the need for a runoff. Exit polls suggest he's won more than 52% of the vote. Mr Arce, who served under the veteran socialist ex-president Evo Morales, told reporters he would try to bring the country together.
We have recovered democracy and we have recovered hope. We are going to govern for all Bolivians. We're going to build a government of national unity. We're going to build the unity of our country.
Evo Morales had to leave the country after last year's election was annulled because of fraud allegations and may still have to face justice. Large crowds of protesters have again gathered in the Thai capital, Bangkok, as the government threatens to close down news organisations. They want the resignation of the Prime Minister, Prayut Chan-o-cha, and political reform to try to halt the protests. Officials have threatened to close down 4 media outlets for spreading distorted information. Jonathan Head reports from Bangkok.
In addition to banning public gatherings, the state of emergency also prohibits the media from publishing anything which undermines national security. Today, the ministry in charge of censoring the internet in Thailand announced it had identified 300,000 reports and comments online which it judged to have violated that provision. Most are believed to relate to the monarchy. It's also asking local internet providers to block the popular and encrypted messaging app Telegram, used by activists to organise rallies at short notice.
Police in the Pacific island nation of Fiji are investigating a fight between officials from China and Taiwan, which left one Taiwanese man needing hospital treatment. The altercation erupted at a hotel event to celebrate Taiwan's National Day earlier this month. It's thought to have begun when 2 Chinese embassy officials gatecrashed the function. A cape emblazoned with the Taiwanese flag appears to have angered the Chinese bureaucrats. China considers Taiwan its own territory. World News from the BBC. India says it's apprehended a Chinese soldier who'd strayed across the border in the remote mountainous region of Ladakh. It said he'll be returned to a Chinese border checkpoint. There's been no confirmation of the incident from Beijing. There have been months of rising tensions between India and China in the disputed Western Himalayan region that's left 20 Indian soldiers dead. Restrictions are being stepped up across Europe to tackle the second wave of the pandemic. Belgium has shut all bars, cafes and restaurants for a month. Slovenia declared a state of emergency with a nighttime curfew, and Austria limited the number of people allowed to gather indoors to 6. Poland began preparing the conference rooms in the National Stadium to take 500 temporary COVID beds. The Italian government has given mayors powers to close crowded areas after 9. The first commercial passenger flight from the United Arab Emirates to Israel has landed in Tel Aviv. The Etihad plane was piloted by Salah Abdallah.
If someone asked me a few months ago that I'll be here today making this speech here in Tel Aviv, I would say that's impossible. But because we have brave men who believe in peace, they work together and they make it peace.
Israel and the UAE recently agreed to normalise their relations, ending an Emirati boycott. Palestinians have been bitterly critical of the deal. They see it as undermining Arab pressure on Israel, aimed at getting it to agree to the establishment of a Palestinian state. Wildlife experts in Australia are deploying drones to drop gum tree seeds in an attempt to regenerate bushland in areas on the east coast that were destroyed by wildfires earlier this year. The aim of the initiative is to boost the koala population, which was almost wiped out by the fires. Gum tree leaves are the animals' main source of food, and restoring bushland is considered essential for their survival. BBC News.